In this video, I'm going to show you how to analyze the data that you have captured for a survey by using the different tools that are offered in the Crystal Surveys platform. If I want to look at the individual questionnaires, I can do so by clicking on the questionnaires link in the toolbar, and Crystal Surveys will present to me a table with the list of all the questionnaires that were captured for this survey, and will give me useful information about the questionnaires. Like, for example, who was the person that captured the questionnaire, the status of the questionnaire, where that questionnaire was captured, the date that it was captured, the time that it took to capture the questionnaire, and so on. If I scroll down to the bottom of this list, I will see that some of these questionnaires have an icon that appears when the questionnaire was captured in a mobile application, and the mobile application was successful in tagging the location where the questionnaire was captured. So if I click on the tag for this questionnaire, the system will show me the exact location where this questionnaire was captured. From the survey dashboard, we can also see a report that shows general statistics about the survey by clicking on the report link on the toolbar. This option will display a list of section and variables and aggregate statistics about the variables captured, including the number of data points captured for each question. If the questions are numeric, the average, the sum, the maximum and minimum of the numbers, and if the questions are lists, the distributions are captured. For example, in the user education level, we have that we captured 18 answers were college, 12 answers were high school, 7 answers were masters, and so on. Next to each question, there's a link that if you click on it, it'll show you the actual detailed information about the answers for that question for every single survey. So you can actually look at every single answer for every single questionnaire for that question. In this screen, we can also export the survey to Excel. If you click on the Export Answers link, Crystal Surveys will generate an Excel file that you can open to reveal a table that has all the detailed answers for all the questionnaires in the survey. And you can process this in Excel or export it to other statistical packages. Crystal Surveys also includes a very powerful analysis tool that allows users to graphically and very intuitively analyze the data without having to go through an external statistical package or Excel. And you do that by clicking on the Analyze button on the toolbar on the main survey dashboard. Crystal Surveys is going to present to you a screen that has a series of charts that you can use to be able to display the data in a very intuitive fashion. The first chart that is displayed is the histogram. A histogram is a chart that has record counts for every variable in the survey that is of type list or of type Boolean. The chart that you see in the screen has on the bottom of the chart a menu that I can use to select the variable that I would like to analyze. In this case, I'm going to look at sex of user, and the system is going to tell me that I have 41 answers for male and 19 answers for female. If I select the same menu, the question movie categories watched regularly, the system is going to present to me statistics about what movies are watched regularly by the people surveyed. I can do this for any of the questions in the survey, whether they're Boolean or list. On the bottom of the screen, you see that there's a series selector. The series selector allows you to display the same information but with an additional variable so that you can see two variables at once. For example, I'm going to see whether the variable does the user like 3D films has any distribution differences between males and females. And the system is telling me that indeed females, which is the orange bars, have a very different distribution than males. So in this case, only a small percentage of females like 3D films. And I can do this for any of the other variables in the survey. So I can split my data, which is whether the user likes 3D films, by where the users see their movies, and so on. At the bottom of a histogram, you will also see that there are filters, and I can use filters to limit the data that I'm visualizing on the screen. For example, I'm going to look at this particular histogram, and I'm going to add it so that I can filter only by the respondents that are males. And this is going to show me the distribution of whether the user drives usually to the theater, and it's showing me only the male data. If I reset the filter and I select the filter again and I look at female data, it's going to show me the distribution for females, which is different than the distribution for males. So I can combine these two features, the series selector and the filters, to create a very powerful analysis engine that allows me to explore my data by using histograms. The next chart that I'm going to show you is the bar chart. A bar chart is very similar to a histogram, but instead of displaying counts, it's displaying the value of a variable in the survey on the y-axis. In this case, I'm going to show you the total money willing to pay to go to the movie theater, and I'm going to show this against whether the user usually drives to the theater. And I can combine any two variables in the survey. For example, I can see what is the differences in the total money willing to be paid for visiting a movie theater by males and females, and I can see that there's a huge difference between the two sexes. I can also use series selectors on these on this chart, and I can look at the information by genre, or I can filter the information so that I can only see one subset of the information in my survey. The next chart that I'm going to show you is the bubble chart. A bubble chart is a special chart that can display many dimensions at once. It is a chart that allows you to display a numeric variable on the x-axis, a numeric variable on the y-axis, a numeric variable on the size of the bubbles, and a category or list or Boolean variable to split the bubbles into groups. In this case, I am displaying the total money willing to pay on the y-axis, the money willing to spend on tickets on the x-axis, and the money spent per movie on the size of the bubbles. I'm also splitting the bubbles by sex, and I can use any variable to analyze the information on the survey. I can also select filters, and I can additionally use something that's called colors. So if I look at the information and I pivot by sex, and I can see that there's very large differences between males and females, and I use a color to be able to separate this information by favorite genre, then the system is going to show me what are the differences by sex. So I can basically look at a particular genre and I can see what are the differences between the sexes for that particular genre, allowing me a very powerful analysis tool that gives me insights into what my data looks like inside my surveys. Every one of these bubbles has data that you can look at by putting your cursor on top of the bubble, and it'll tell you what is the pivot, what is the X, Y, and the size of the variable, so you can explore the information within your survey. If I look at the next chart, which is a heat map, I can see that the system allows me to present information geographically if your questionnaire has a geographic question in it. And the system allows me to select on the y-axis the numeric variable that I would like to analyze, and displays in my chart geographically the information. And finally, we can use a geographic view chart to analyze data geographically if the questionnaire has geotags included in the question. This is typically the case for questionnaires that have been captured with a mobile application. In this case, I am looking in the y-axis for the total money willing to pay, and this map is showing me where the information was captured. In this case, it's telling me that when I captured my screen, the average in the downtown Vienna is 31, and here it's 17, here it's 14. This particular survey is 150. This particular questionnaire is 18, and so on. So as you can see, Crystal Surveys includes a variety of very, very powerful tools that allow you to analyze the data from your questionnaire very efficiently.